Well, today is May 8th, and good morning to you. And here we are on WGTV today, Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good Wednesday morning, and thank you for joining us. We've got a good lineup to today's show.
What's going on there, Kim?
Let's see. We have recently interviewed Miss KRIQUETTE Davis, and she's here to talk about a new program that the Family Y is offering.
And you'll want to listen. I've heard this interview. This is a very
heartfelt,
touching interview. You'll want to hear this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we've also recently talked with a member of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base.
Oh, yeah.
And she's here talking about the 101 critical days of summer.
Yes. Tech Sergeant KELEWOOD, I believe it was.
That's exactly right, Miranda KELEWOOD.
There you go.
And then, of course, you spoke with Rosemary Blizzard,
our Board of Elections Director, who has some great information for you. And, you know, there's been a lot in the news lately, and oftentimes, particularly around election time, about provisional ballots.
Yes.
Well, Rosemary and I touch on a lot of different subjects, but we also go into great detail on provisional ballots and provisional voters. So if you don't understand what that is, and a lot of people don't know what provisional ballots are, you'll want to hear this interview with Rosemary Blizzard, our Director of the Board of Elections here in Wayne County.
That's exactly right. So that's a good lineup for today.
And a quick reminder that coming up on the 20th through the 24th, that is Small Business Week here in Wayne County. Small Business Week with an entire week full of features and programs and things going on at Wayne Community College and at other places, at Lane Tree.
A different topic every day, right?
A different topic every day. And you can learn a lot from this. If you want to participate, you can call the Chamber office at 734-2411, or you can go online and register, but the easier way would be just to call 739-6940. 739-6940. And that includes the Schmoozapalooza.
Yes, it does.
Whatever that is. Anyway, the whole week, there's something going on every day. You can go on the Wayne County Chamber website and check that out, or call them.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Let's see.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Have you done a trivia question for today?
A trivia question I have not done.
Okay.
Allow me to trivialize you.
We're ready.
Okay. Most people know that a day is made up of 24 hours.
Yes, we do.
You also know that most hours are made up of 60 minutes.
Yes, we do.
Most minutes are made up of 60 seconds.
I was waiting to see if you were going to get that right. Yes, we do.
All right. There's a measurement of time that is 1/100th of a second.
Okay.
You take an hour and divide it into minutes, take those minutes and divide them into seconds. You take those seconds and divide them into hundredths. 1/100th of a second is called what? Everybody knows this.
Everybody knows this.
No. Those are good answers.
That our producer is saying on the other side. I know you can't hear them.
She threw nanosecond and millisecond, and neither is correct.
Well, we get things wrong sometimes, Wayne.
I get things wrong all the time there, Cam.
I'm not even guessing on that one.
1/100th of a second is known by this common everyday name.
And you'll tell us in a little while, right?
In a little while, I'm going to tell you what it is.
So think on that one.
Think. Okay.
Sometimes that hurts, right?
It hurts a lot.
I know.
Don't try that at home.
Well, today is Wednesday, so that means farmers market
Oh, yeah.
all day long.
That's great news. Yeah, I love the farmers market. Support your local farmers. If you've eaten today, then you could thank a farmer for that.
And I hope you have eaten today. Well, then again, you may not have yet.
Well, it's still early. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah. Okay.
Some of us have to eat very early on these mornings.
But anyway, the farmers market is open today, and the farmers market is there on Herman Street.
That's exactly right.
At Herman Street Park.
In Herman Park on the Herman Street side.
Right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was close anyway.
So all day long today, from 9 this morning until about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock this afternoon, whenever it gets dark, or starts to get dark.
Okay.
Let's see. We want to remind you this Saturday, Wayne, is the National Letter Carriers Food Drive.
Oh, yeah. That's this Saturday.
It is from 8 to 5 for zip codes 27530 and 27534. You can leave canned goods or dry food either in your mailbox or by your mailbox. And the letter carriers the mailman, postal man and women will pick them up this Saturday. Let's see, is there somewhere they can drop them off as well?
There are.
If you live in other area codes?
If you live in other area codes, if you live in Eureka, Fremont, Pikeville,
Mount Olive,
Seven Springs, Dudley, go to the post office either on Cashwell Drive or the downtown post office on North William Street. They have a box in there and you can put your canned goods in there.
That's exactly right.
And in fact, that is in place now. You can do that anytime this week. Okay, up until Saturday, and Saturday they have the big drive. And look, some people think, well, I don't want to buy all those cans of goods. If you bought 1 or 2 cans, that will help so much. And all this food stays here in Wayne County. There are five food banks that where this food goes, and it all stays right here in Wayne County. And every year they raise thousands and thousands of foods by the volunteers, the National Association of Letter Carriers. They've done this for many years, and they do a wonderful job with it. And there's a lot of local volunteers that help out with this too.
Yes, absolutely.
Including a bunch of people from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. And thank all of you that participate with this.
Yes, indeed, and we hope you're able to participate as well in zip codes 27530 through 27534.
Those will be picked up.
Those will be picked up if you leave a bag, a plastic bag by your mailbox, plastic bag of canned goods or
dried foods.
Dried foods. No meats, no dairy products, anything like that. They attract vermin.
That's exactly right.
I once had a vermin coat.
And they go bad.
And they go bad, yeah. So don't do that. Only canned goods or dry goods like cereal, maybe in a box, you know.
Rice, pastas.
Rice and pastas, yeah. Okay, so do that. And if you have any questions, well,
we're not sure who to call. Not sure who to tell you to call.
Call somebody.
That's right.
Anyway, well, it's so simple. Okay.
All right.
It is simple.
Yes, it is.
So. There you go.
That's right.
We're getting the high sign here. Somebody's about to fall out of their chair saying, go to break, go to break.
Yes, so it is time to go to our first interview, so stay tuned and we'll see you back in just a few minutes. Good morning and welcome back to Wayne Goldsboro Television. This morning I have with me KRIQUETTE Davis. She is the Associate Executive Director for Goldsboro Family Wide. Good morning, KRIQUETTE.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks so much for having us again.
We're glad to have you back on the show again this month, and you've got a new program to talk to us about. I believe the name is Who is Darkness to Light?
It's called Darkness to Light, Stewards of Children.
Tell me what this program is, KRIQUETTE, if you will, and what it's all about and who's it intended for.
It's a program to educate adults on how to prevent and minimize child sexual abuse. You know, in light of the Jerry Sandusky trial and the things that happened there, I think a lot of people have a lot more knowledge than they had before, but there's so much that people don't know, and there's so much that goes on. It's just like any kind of violence. People say it doesn't happen here, and it happens everywhere. One of the biggest statistics is that 1 in every 4 girls will be sexually abused by the time they're 18 years old, and 1 in every 6 boys will be sexually abused by the time they reach 18 years old. And
oh my goodness,
that's only reported.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing with those kind of statistics. Now, is that in the United States?
That's in the United States. And like I said, that's only reported. And you know, you worked in the child industry, you know, like we do, and people always go, well, you know, we do background checks and we do, you know, and we do preventative measures, but when it's not, when you don't know, when people don't report it, you've got people that are violators that are out there
that have never been caught.
No, they've never been caught, and you know, nobody will tell on. And one of the things I was telling you kind of before we started is the most staggering statistic that I've heard through this whole thing is that a serial child sexual abuser will abuse more than 400 children in their lifetime. One person.
One person will abuse at least 400 children in their lifetime. Wow.
I mean, and that's, you know,
that's unbelievable. Well, what this program is about is, like you said, it's educating parents on how to recognize the signs, but also how to minimize
so
the possibility so it never happens to begin with.
And empowering your children. I mean, we were all raised when an adult tells us to do something,
exactly,
to do what they tell us to do and not to say no. And, you know, we need to educate them about things that are, you know, that are wrong and that they can say no to. And, you know, 40% of abusers are somebody that they know.
That's the scary part.
It's not the guy in the park with the, you know, because we were growing up, it's like, you know, your mom said,
not
don't
to
talk to any shady
strangers.
people or
Right.
whatever, but it's not. And, you know, this program, the video that goes along with it, has some very strong testimonial from survivors. One of them happens to be Marilyn Van Derber, who is, she was Miss America in 1957. She was abused by her father for, you know, like 13 years. And every night for 13 years. And the most, I think the thing that struck me the most in the video was she said that one night while her father was in a room, she heard her mother coming up the stairs. And she said, I heard the first step, and I heard the second step, and I heard the third step. She said, and, you know, at that point, you know, I started thinking, this is it. She's coming to help me. She's coming to help me. And she said, and then my father stopped what he was doing. She was about, at this point, I think she said 4 or 5 feet from her door. And she said, then she heard a step back up the stairs, a step back up the stairs. And she said, and I knew at that point that she didn't choose me.
Oh,
and I mean, you know, and that's when she was 12. And so that continued to go on for, you know, 6 more years. And when she came out and started talking about it, and that's what's been so great, she's just been such a great advocate against child sexual abuse and going ahead and talking to your children. And, you know, that's the great thing about this video is it educates adults on, you know, you need to talk to your children early on.
Right.
It's like
when they're young.
When they're young. And it's like when you're talking about their body parts, excuse me, you don't need to make up nicknames and stuff, because then they start to think that it's something bad.
Exactly.
You know, it is what it is. And, you know, somebody said, well, you know, it kind of makes me just paranoid to even let my kids out. That's not the point of any of this. You know, we want our kids to be healthy and happy and live in a community where there's not a threat of child sexual abuse.
Right.
And it's up to the adults to do it. And it's got 7 steps that they go through, and the first one is learn the facts and understand the risks. You know, make sure that you know as much possible as you do about babysitters or people that are close family friends and stuff, and you quiz your kids. I mean, you ask them, how was time with Uncle so-and-so, or how was time with your friends, or, you know, or pop in and just, you know, check on things.
And going through these classes gives you the tools to know what to ask, to provoke those kinds of questions and get the answers that you need to hear and understand. And what are some of the other ones?
The other one, you know, one of the biggest ones, minimizing opportunity. One of the ladies that took the class, and it was really kind of funny, she was taking her son to go start guitar lessons, and the guy was teaching guitar lessons in the back of a music store in a room that didn't have any windows. And the guy had been doing it for years, and I'm sure he was fine, and that's what she said. But because she had been through this training, she was like, you know, I've been taught in stewards of children. She said, I just don't feel comfortable with that, because you're in the door
with the door shut,
you know. And so they were given different examples of how to minimize those opportunities. You know, say, can I come in and listen to a session, or, you know, different things like that. Talk about it. You know, kids most of the time will keep child abuse a secret. You know,
that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, because they're afraid to tell, and they get told, you know, if you tell, you're not going to be believed, or if you tell, I'm going to do something to mommy or daddy, or, and once they do tell you, and this is one of the biggest things I tell everybody, if a child comes to you and tells you something like that, you need to tell them how brave they are for coming to you and telling you that.
Reassure them that it's going to be okay.
And then take the proper steps from there, because it's a crime. I mean, you know, and it's the whole thing. It's not, you know, it's not anybody pulling skeletons out of anybody's closets, but we've got to protect the children.
Because they're not born knowing this. They're not born understanding who are the good guys, who are the bad guys. They're not born knowing the signs of child abuse or child molesters. And so this is a phenomenal program that you all offer to educate us as parents and us as adults, so we can give our children those tools to protect themselves.
Because it's important. You can't expect a 5-year-old to protect themselves.
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's not, because people are like, well, you know, we talked about it or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but you need to do your job a little bit. You've got to follow up and spend time with your children and know what's going on. Because some children there will not be any signs. Unfortunately.
That's heartbreaking.
Some of them just internalize it. You never know. Then some of them, I think the statistic was, it was like 50-something% of teenage pregnancies come about from child abuse. You know, and you hear people all the time going, you know, them girls don't know any better than to get pregnant. You know, I mean, some of them do, and you know, but I mean, when you think about the fact that they got pregnant via that way, I mean, you know, it's our job to stop it, and it's not something that can't be stopped. You know, we're not talking about something that we can't do anything about. A couple other things is, you know, make sure you stay alert, make a plan. make a plan with your children. You need to have more than just you and your husband or you and your spouse for them to tell, because it could be one of you guys.
Right.
You know, so you need to have somebody else that child can go to. Act on suspicions. You know, if you call and report it, they're not going to go take the child right out of the home. But most of the time, you're the only voice that child has. So if something seems suspicious and you have a gut feeling, just call and report it and let them do their job. Child Protective Services knows how to do their jobs well,
and they recognize
and they know what to do. And then get involved. You know, talk to other people about it. And you know, when people tell you that this doesn't happen in our community, it's just not true. And you know, I'm here to try to make sure that people know that we've got this program available at the Y. And you know, anytime anybody wants any training on it, we can come help them train on it, or I can talk to them one-on-one. You know, anything that we can do or anything that I can do to help prevent child sexual abuse.
You want to make sure it's taken care of.
That's right.
Well, now this program, so it's a one-time program. It's all in one evening. You can teach this class anywhere.
Right.
They just need to call you and set it up. Now, how long does the class typically last?
2.5 to 3 hours.
Okay, so it's a 2.5 to 3 hours. Is there a cost associated?
It's $10 just for the books.
$10 for the book. So you get materials to take home that you can keep to refresh your memory.
Right.
If you need to look back over it, because there are, like it says, 7 steps, right?
Yeah, and then it's got, you know, telephone numbers of, you know, agencies that you need to call, and gives you examples on how, because somebody goes, well, I don't know how to have a sex talk with my kid. Well, there shouldn't be just one sex talk. I mean,
Right.
it needs to be an education the whole time.
Right.
And so that's what's good about having the workbooks, is that you've got that to kind of go back to.
Exactly. Wonderful. Okay, so they can call the Goldsboro Family Y. Ask for Cricket Davis. You can sign up. The name of the class one more time.
Is Darkness to Light, Stewards of Children.
Darkness to Light, Stewards of Children.
And if somebody's interested in going to their web page, they do have a web page. It's www.dtl.org.
DTL.org.
Darkness to Light, DTL.org.
Darkness to Light, exactly. Well, thank you, Cricket, so much for coming and sharing this, and we want you to come back again after you've taught some of these classes and maybe give us some examples of people that have, the parents that have gone through it, and how it's changed their lives, how it's affected them by going through this class and learning these different tools.
Because I'd love to see the statistics drop.
Especially in our community, all over America, but we definitely want to focus on our community where we actually can step up to the plate and take control.
Yep.
Of what's happening right here locally. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate what you all do at the Goldsboro Family Y, and thank you for talking to us about this class.
Thank you so much, too.
Well, that's Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you so much for being with us, and this was Cricket Davis from Goldsboro Family Y. We'll see you in a few.
We're back on WGTV today. Good morning to you there. Oh, well, okay.
Yes.
Well, okay, that was interesting. Really enjoyed that. Seymour Johnson Air Force Base.
That's exactly right.
And the Family Y, Goldsboro
right.
Family Y. See, I
Cricket
told you
Davis.
that would be interesting. That was very interesting coming from Cricket Davis there.
Yes, it is.
Quite a program. I quickly want to take just about a half a minute. No, let's take a minute. Take a full
take
minute.
a whole minute.
We're going to take a whole minute here and look over today's birthdays. Today, May 8th. Oh boy, it is Wednesday, midweek already. Today, Enrique Iglesias
Yes.
is having a birthday, the son of Julio Iglesias.
How old is he today?
He is 37 years young today.
Wow.
Just a kid. Yeah, Melissa Gilbert, remember her?
Little House on the
Little
Prairie.
House on the Prairie, yeah. She played Laura Ingalls, who, by the way, was a pilot. When she grew
Really?
up, Laura Ingalls became a pilot and was the first woman to fly across the country in an airplane as a pilot. Okay, anyway, Melissa Gilbert is not a pilot, but she's still acting, and she's 48 years today. Don Rickles used to, you know who Don Rickles
yes.
is? I love Don Rickles. He's been on so much TV since he was a young man. He's 86 today, and he still calls people hockey pucks. He's a funny guy. Well, when he says it, it's funny.
Yes, it is.
Stephen Amell is the guy who stars on the TV series Arrow, which I happen to like that show. You ever
What's the
seen
name of
that?
the show?
Arrow. He's a
no.
do-gooder, kind of a superhero somehow.
Okay, no, I've not seen that show.
Arrow. He's kind of a
Okay.
Robin Hood type who, in the dark, it's a dark thing. Anyway, he's 31 today. Tony Tennille, remember the captain in Tennille?
Yes.
The captain in Tennille, Tony Tennille, is 72 years today.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you believe that? I cannot
Wow.
believe that. What a pretty lady she is, too. And you know, she recorded Muskrat Love,
Oh,
and she and the
yes.
captain had such big hits, but they were husband and wife.
Yes.
He, the captain, was the son of Carmen Dragon, the band leader. Carmen Dragon, big-time
Interesting.
orchestra leader. Alexis Van Halen is 59 today, drummer for the rock band Van Halen. Birth anniversary for one of my favorites, and that's the late, great Ricky Nelson, born this day in
yes.
1940. Love that guy. Birthday today for David Keith as well. David Keith is a big-time actor. He was in films like Brubaker and The Rose and a bunch of other stuff. Very talented actor. And that's it for birthdays for today.
Well, if it is your birthday, have a great one. Do something special.
That's right. Happy, happy.
That's right.
That's right. What else do we have?
Oh, this weekend's Relay for Life.
Is that this
It
weekend?
is. It's this weekend at Wayne County Fairgrounds.
Okay.
Starts at 6 p.m. is the kickoff. Let's see. There's all kinds of activities and entertainment that'll be going on.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, we all know that the funds and all the money that is raised goes for cancer research.
The American Cancer Society
That's
benefits
exactly
from
right.
this. And I tell you, at the Wayne Regional Agricultural Fairgrounds, the grounds are paved, the routes are paved,
Right.
the paths are paved around the building. It's a great venue. It's a great location, the Wayne Regional Agricultural Fairgrounds. And this is this Saturday.
That is this Saturday.
Wow.
They're telling us that they're going to have all kinds of unique things and little twists to make it a little different this year. And one of the things we've heard about is a glow-in-the-dark 5K run. That's going to start, I'm not sure if those times are right.
That's midnight.
Yeah, it says from midnight to 2.
That's what it says.
So I'm not sure if that's exactly correct. But it says that this Saturday at midnight,
Glow in the dark.
5K run.
How do you glow in the dark?
Who knows? They can have T-shirts that glow in the dark.
Okay.
They can have things by the walkway that glow
yeah,
in the dark.
that's right, that's
you
right.
could have necklaces that glow in the dark.
Necklaces, yes.
It's never ending.
Never ends. There's 1,000 ways.
There's a lot of ways.
lot of ways.
We don't know what their choices are, Wayne.
No idea, but they will make you glow in the dark if you want to participate at midnight.
All
this
for a
Saturday.
great cause
Oh yeah, Relay for Life.
this weekend.
All right.
Anything else major going on in your world?
I wanted to mention something going on in your world.
Please do.
What's in a name?
That is so funny to me. So funny.
What's in a name? The city of Goldsboro is asking for your help in coming up with a motto that aptly describes the city of Goldsboro. Now be nice and keep it brief. A 10-word maximum motto for the city of Goldsboro, and you submit this as many times as you like, as many different suggestions as you want, to the city of Goldsboro no later than June 30th.
That's
no
right.
later. Between now and June 30th, submit as many as you like, and the winners will receive a ton of prizes.
Tell them what the semifinalists, top 20 will get.
The top 20 people will each receive 2 free driving range passes to the Goldsboro Municipal Golf Course, 2 tickets to the Paramount Theater movie, to a Paramount Theater movie, 2 tickets, a Do It Downtown t-shirt, and a City of Goldsboro gift bag. That's to the top 20. The top 5 will receive 2 free rounds of golf with a cart at the Goldsboro Municipal Golf Course, 2 tickets to any event at the Paramount Theater Performing Arts Series, 1 gift card to a downtown Goldsboro restaurant to be selected by DGDC, and 1 Goldsboro restaurant voucher. Then the top dog, the winner,
That's on
the
another piece of
winner.
paper right
There's
here.
another piece of paper. Here it is. I got it right here. Okay, I lost it, but I found it. The top person will receive dinner with Mayor Al King.
Yay!
Yay! Also, a 1-year membership to the Goldsboro Municipal Golf Course. A whole year to the golf course. Paramount Theater full series package. $100 in downtown dollars. What is that?
That is downtown dollars, that like a coupon for $100 that you can go in any store downtown Goldsboro and spend.
Any store?
Any store
$100
downtown
bucks.
Goldsboro.
All right. 1 free Parks and Recreation program registration, the activity of your choice. So pick a program and join, and then there you go. The YMCA, 1 year free membership to the YMCA. All these packages, including everything you just heard, plus all these prizes will be awarded during the Downtown Lights Up 2013. That's in November, Downtown Lights Up, when we turn on the Christmas lights.
Well, how about this show?
And
That's right.
the winner gets to appear with Kim and I.
Like the king and I.
Yeah, Kim and me. I knew that didn't sound right.
Yep.
Yeah, like the Kim and me. Here on the WGTV Morning Show.
And tell us why you came up, or how you came up with that motto.
Yeah, like what's that all about?
We want to hear your story.
Yeah, tell us your story. That's right.
That's
Anyway,
exactly right.
You have between now and June 30th
Yes, you do. So everyone should submit. All right, let's see. I believe it's now time to go to the interview with Rosemary Blizzard, Wayne.
Yes, it is, Wayne. Today we're talking with Rosemary Blizzard. Rosemary is the Director of the Board of Elections here in Wayne County, and thank you for being with us. Hope you're doing well.
You're welcome.
Hi there.
Doing good?
Now, as Director of the Board of Elections, one thing we are not going to talk about today is we're not going to talk about voter ID. And the reason is because it doesn't exist yet in North Carolina. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Fair enough. All right. Rosemary, how long have you been with the Board of Elections here in Wayne County?
Been here since September of 2012.
Just in time. She came in September of 2012, just in time for the election.
Yes, sir.
And it's been pretty busy since then, hasn't it?
Yes, we went through October and November, and thankfully it slowed down a good deal in December, and we've been working on some future elections since then.
All right. How many people work in your office?
There are 5 of us full-time.
And you do stay rather busy.
We do.
Because there's something always going on with elections.
That's correct.
It's not just every 4-year or every 2-year thing.
Mm-hmm.
What are we working on right now?
Well, right now we're working on getting ready for the municipal and sanitary district elections.
And when is that?
Those will be held in November.
And who participates?
Well, there's several towns. They're actually on an altered schedule. There will be about 5 sanitary districts and a couple of municipalities that will be up this year. And we'll be posting that schedule on our website.
Okay. And your website is waynegov.com/BOE?
That's correct.
waynegov.com/BOE for Board of Elections. And that's also, you can also get that on the county website.
That's correct.
All right, go to the county website, waynegov.com, you click on the departments menu, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And where is the Board of Elections office?
And we're located at 209 South William Street, which is the little one-story building just across the block from the courthouse.
Yeah, that's the old administration building that was moved several years ago by rail, which I still remember, and that was a fascinating thing they did some years ago with that, how they moved it across the street. It was interesting. But Rosemary, we're working on the municipalities and what was the other one?
Sanitary districts.
Sanitary districts. Tell me about the sanitary districts. How does that work?
Well, Wayne County, I think, has 7 sanitary districts that are spread out throughout the county. And they are elected on a board basis some sanitary districts are staggered. Some do their complete board every 4 years. And
what do these sanitation districts do? What do the boards do?
my understanding is that they regulate the water services for areas in Wayne County that aren't necessarily part of a municipality.
I see. Okay. Very good. And the same number of members on each board, or does that vary?
That is the same on each board.
On
There are
each
about 5 to 6 members. I'm still learning quite a bit about these because this is the first time I've worked with sanitary district elections.
Yeah. I can imagine it would be, it's a little, I guess it's a little different depending on where you are in the state.
It is. Counties have their own special brand of elections and districts, and for the most part they are similar, but each county does seem to have its own little nuances that are different from one county to another.
Okay, I guess it works well for us.
It does. It seems to have, at least as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Now, I know during the last election, the presidential election and the elections here in North Carolina, the results were posted immediately online. That worked really, really well.
We were very pleased,
Yeah.
and of course we'll be working for future elections to do it even quicker, because we know people have worked really hard over the months leading up to the election, and we want to do it right, but we
Yeah.
also want to be efficient, as efficient as we can be.
That brings to mind the term provisional votes that have been in the news of late. How do provisional votes work?
Well, provisional votes are issued, or provisional ballots
Provisional
are offered
ballots,
to
thank you.
voters when they come to the precinct and we can't readily locate their information. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Maybe the person is at the wrong precinct, or maybe they moved and didn't notify us, and they were over a several year period dropped from the registration list. And also, too, we've had people come in from different counties who, during presidential elections, believe that they can go anywhere and vote, and that's not necessarily the case in North Carolina. And so we, instead of just turning them away and saying, good luck, see you next year, we give them a provisional ballot, which gives us the opportunity to take it back to our office, still sealed, we don't look at them, and research and find out if that voter is truly eligible to vote. And if they are, the board counts the ballot.
And there's a lot of people that don't understand that.
There are a lot of people who are very afraid of provisional ballots. They think it's a bad thing. They think we don't count them. They think that in some way, shape, or form we're diminishing their value as a voter, and that's not true at all. In fact, you know, these voters get an extra opportunity to cast their ballot and make sure that their eligibility is in fact in full.
So somebody all votes are counted, all eligible votes.
All eligible votes,
are
yes,
counted.
sir.
All eligible votes are counted, and you do, it seems to me, you do everything you can to verify.
Absolutely. And the key thing too also is even if we can't determine your eligibility, for example, we had several people who had recently moved to Wayne County but didn't get their information to us in time. Even though we were not able to count their ballot because they were not eligible, we did get them registered, because that's part of the provisional process, is completing a registration form. So if they can work with us the first time, we should avoid this problem in future elections.
Okay, I'm going to make sure I understand this now. So people who are not registered here in Wayne County, they may be registered in Allegheny County.
That's correct.
But that doesn't count. That doesn't count here, right?
That's true. In North Carolina, they have to register in the county. We don't transfer it automatically from one county to another.
The county in which they reside, they have to be registered in that county. You got that?
Yep.
All right. If they live in North Carolina, they're registered for 100 years in another county, they have to register when they get here or move their registration here.
That's correct. And that move has to be prompted by the voter. There's no automatic transfer.
Okay.
From one place to another. You have to let us know that you're here, that you've been here for 30 days, and then we can go ahead and get you registered.
Okay, you have to be here 30 days. Okay. What votes are not counted in an election?
The only votes that are still sealed and never looked at by the board are the provisional ballots that we can't prove the eligibility of the voter. Absentees are counted.
Absentees are counted.
Election day votes are counted.
Election day votes are counted.
And we keep a very strict record of, you know, how many people walk through the door and complete what we call an authorization to vote form or an absentee application. And we balance that number against the number of ballots in our machines.
So you verify the person voting, their eligibility. You count all the ballots that are verified. The only votes that are not counted in the election, in any election, would be votes that cannot be verified.
That we can't prove the eligibility
Can't prove the eligibility, exactly. So, and that would be also the people that who move here, who are not registered. Their vote does not count, but they can be registered for the next election.
That's correct.
All right, so that may be where some of that talk is coming
Right.
from. Okay.
And what I would encourage anyone to do, especially now, and I know it's not popular now because we don't have an election going on quite as popular as the presidential of last year's, we are ready at any point in time during business hours to verify your registration. You pick up the phone and you call. We can go over with you what your current address is. We can verify that your birth date is correct. We can't do it, you can't call and check on someone else, but we can check your record for you and make sure you don't run into this problem.
You cannot call and say, look, I know this guy lives down the street from me and I know he is not registered, but he voted anyway. You can't do that.
There is a process for handling those type issues.
Really?
There is. You can actually challenge a voter's registration.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep, and that would require a challenge in writing, and the board would have to hear the challenge. The burden of proof would be on the challenger.
The one doing the challenge.
That's correct.
All right. There you go.
So, and that's one of the things we're working on too, as we've, we're sort of in a downtime, is we're going through the records and making sure that we've gotten everybody where they should be, and making sure that the address they've given us is the address we've put them at. We've done a lot of checking to make sure that we don't have as many individuals who may have left this earth, have deceased,
Passed on.
have passed on,
Passed on, died.
have passed on. So
Right.
we do check those things, and I welcome anyone, if they've got some information that would help us clean those records up, please bring it to us.
If they know someone who's died,
Right.
they can bring you that information. You don't go through the obituaries every day.
We're not allowed to use the obituaries to remove individuals on the
Aha.
basis of being deceased. We have to have notification from a family member or a copy of the death certificate.
Copy of the death certificate or written notification from the family member.
That's correct. And there's a form available on our website that the family members can use to do that.
Otherwise, if you don't know that they have died, and if you don't know that, then they're still registered voters.
In some cases, yes. Now, we do receive notification from the Department of Health and Human Services on a monthly basis of individuals who have died that listed Wayne County as their residents.
That's
and
good.
we do remove individuals that way as well.
All right. Okay.
But sometimes, whether it's a case of maybe the person used a different name, maybe they went by their middle name rather than their first name,
Yeah.
and they may have registered using that middle name versus their first name, so their death certificate may not pop up.
Oh boy.
And those are instances where we do a little more research, but we can only use death certificates and notification from the family.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, getting back to people who are living. If they move from another county here, they must register after 30 days once they move here.
Well, the language is that they will have resided in the county for 30 days prior to the next election.
Oh, okay. Prior to the
So they
next
don't
election.
have to wait 30 days.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But if they will have been here by the next election, they'll be eligible to vote.
What if they move across town?
It's always better to update it when that occurs rather
Okay.
than waiting until you get to the precinct or the one-stop site.
Okay.
Just simply because it takes a little extra time. And a lot of people don't have any extra time. I know I don't.
Yeah.
So take a few minutes to get it straight now when we're not busy, and avoid that problem come election day.
Okay. What other misconceptions might the public have about what's going on in your office, do you think?
Well, a lot of people think we're not really doing anything right now.
Oh.
And
Really?
while we aren't
what are you
necessarily,
doing right
well,
now?
right now we're working on registration.
Right.
We're working on getting ready for filing. We're reviewing campaign finance reports. We're updating our website. Right now I've got staff calling all the municipalities and sanitary districts and verifying who's actually serving. Because a lot of times we'll get them elected and something happens, they quit, they die, they resign for whatever reason, and we don't always get notified that they've appointed someone new.
Oh.
And so we have to take that time to double check everything.
Just to verify.
Exactly.
And everything. And that is time consuming. There's
It
only
is.
5 of you doing all this.
Exactly.
All
And
right.
we've still got registrations coming in on a regular basis.
And once you get a registration, what do you do with it?
Well, we scan it into our SEYMOUR system, which is our software that we use in our office. That software is used in all 100 counties. And we will actually put in the data entry for that based on that piece of paper that we've received. And we'll go through a particular process, and we'll generate a card and mail that to the voter.
At that point, do you verify any information, or do you take it just as it is on the card?
Well, we take it just as it is on the card. We do have the ability, the registration forms now require that the voter give either a driver's license number or the last 4 digits of their social security number. If they don't have either one of those or choose not to for whatever reason, then that voter may be asked to show identification at the polls. But that comes from federal law and has been in place since 2005.
Okay, that is a federal law.
That is a federal law.
All right, tell me again, those numbers may appear or may be placed where?
On the registration form.
At the time they register, the voter is asked to include the last 4 digits of their social security number or their entire driver's license
That's
number.
correct.
And failure to put either number on that card means that they may be asked to show an ID at the poll when they go to vote.
Right. But when they do that, or they don't provide that information, we do give them an opportunity prior to the election. We actually mail them a letter and say, hey, you didn't give us this information. Would you mind sharing that information or a copy of some form of identification? And if they don't do that, that doesn't exclude them from voting, but they will have to do it before they go, when they go on election day.
Now, do all the counties do this, or is
Yes.
it just Wayne County?
That is all the counties in North Carolina.
All of the North Carolina counties do this.
Yes.
Do all the counties in the country do this?
That I'm not particularly sure of.
And it
Now, I
doesn't
do
matter
know it
because they're
stems
different
from,
states.
it does stem from federal law, but some states interpreted the federal law a little differently.
Yeah. Well, that's their business.
Right.
We do it right here in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Wow, Rosemary, this is great information.
Good.
If someone has a question about anything at all, how do they get up with you?
Pick up the phone. That's probably the easiest
That's
way
a
to
good
get up
way,
to us.
yeah. What's that
And
number?
that's 919-731-1411.
731-1411, and Rosemary Blizzard is our director of the Board of Elections here in Wayne County and doing a fine job.
Thank you.
We appreciate you very much. I'm Wayne Alley.
Welcome back to Wayne Goldsboro Television. Joining me today is Tech Sergeant Miranda KELEWOOD from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. She's a defense paralegal, and she's here today to talk about the 101 days that are critical of summer. Welcome to the show, Miranda. Tell me what this means, the 101 critical days of summer.
Well, essentially it's an Air Force-wide event, I guess you could call it, where the Air Force emphasizes to all the service members safety. Because during the 101 critical days of summer, which typically start Memorial Day weekend and run through Labor Day weekend, is when the Air Force experiences the most mishaps. So it's a time for the Air Force, supervisors, leadership, etc., to push safety, safety, safety.
Well, I can understand that. In the summer, we're doing a lot more activities and things that we don't typically do throughout the remainder of the year.
Yes.
So I understand you all would want to push safety as much as possible to keep your airmen safe and ready to work. And tell me some of the things that you all are promoting.
Some of the things that we promote would be, for example, water safety, making sure you have the right equipment, personal protective equipment, making sure you stay hydrated, using sunblock. So there's a full range of topics just because there's so many activities that airmen engage in.
Well, tell me how you get these ideas and this information out to your airmen.
Well, typically the topics come from the safety office, so they'll push them out to each unit and say, here's the topics, here's some briefings, here's some slideshows, etc.
Do you think, us as humans and individuals, do you think we really listen and we really use this information as much as we should?
I would hope so. However, I think it is still important that we push that information, just because a lot of times our airmen don't know.
Right.
And it gives us an opportunity, too, to kind of hear it over and over again, so it re-emphasizes.
And repetition, we've known. We need to hear things 4 and 5 times before we ever really even pay attention, to be quite honest. So I'm glad that you're here today, not only sharing this for the airmen, but sharing it for the community. With the days of summer coming up, we're all going to be doing all these activities that we don't typically do. And you know, we don't think about it when we're out doing things and we get hurt, how it's going to affect us in our work life, in our personal life, in our day-to-day life.
Exactly.
So it really could make a big difference with an airman. Typically, what happens when an airman does get hurt?
Well, of course, it'll be reported to the safety office, but there's a full range of different things that could happen. Line of duty determinations, we want to make sure that they're taken care of first and foremost, so it just really depends on the situation.
Well, you had mentioned some of these other things as you were talking about the critical days of summer. You were giving me some examples about the different safety precautions. What do you all promote other than your basic safety precautions? Are there specific things that you all tell your airmen to do?
Like I said, it really depends, but specific topics, for example, we would focus on water safety. If you're out jet skiing, make sure that you're not engaging in alcohol use, make sure that you are trained on how to properly use the equipment, make sure that you're wearing your life vest. Being a good wingman, that's definitely something that we preach even more so.
Right. When did you all start implementing this program? Do you remember?
It's actually been going on for quite a while. I've been in the Air Force now about 8-9 years, and I can always remember it being preached.
So safety first, always.
Yes.
Well, tell me more about your job.
Well, I'm a defense paralegal in the Area Defense Counsel's office on base. So essentially what I do is assist airmen who are undergoing any type of adverse actions that would negatively affect their career.
What made you decide to join the Air Force?
I think it was the opportunity to travel, and it was something different. I've enjoyed it so far.
You've been 8 years, did you say?
Yes, 9 years.
9 years? Have you done the same job the entire time?
I just got picked up to be a defense paralegal 2 years ago, but prior to that, I was a paralegal in the base legal office.
Wonderful. What would you say to a young lady who was graduating high school and she was contemplating going into the Air Force? What would you say to her?
I would definitely strongly encourage it. I've enjoyed my time, but one thing that I would definitely emphasize as well is making sure that she understands what career fields are available and making the right choice as far as what job she would want to do.
And I wonder sometimes if that's part of the misconception as youth are thinking about going to different areas of service. All of us don't fully understand the range of careers that are available in all of the different areas of service. Well, thank you for coming today and sharing this information. Now, do you all have this on your website as well? Do you have it available there?
Yes, ma'am. You should find it on the Public Air Force website. And like I said, normally it kicks off Memorial Day weekend. So you might see a little bit out there, but once it kicks off, you'll start to see a lot more.
We're going to see more and more.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Memorial Day to Labor Day,
Yes,
the 101 critical days of summer. Take care of yourself as you're out and about, enjoying your hot summer days.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and
Thank
talking
you.
with us. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And this is what's happening on Wayne Goldsboro Television.
It was a week. All right, we're back on WGTV today. Thank you for being with us. Today is, what is today's? Wednesday?
I believe it.
It is the 8th.
All day long.
All day long. You see, we get started kind of early, and here somewhere along the way, we kind of run out of steam. But anyway, that's okay. That's another story. That's my problem. Anyway, it is Wednesday, and we thank you very much for being with us.
Yes, we do. We talked earlier about the fact that this weekend is Relay for Life. And where is it, Wayne? Wake up.
Huh? Oh,
where's it at?
It's at the Wayne Regional Agricultural Fairgrounds on Highway 117 South there at 5 Points.
That's right. It starts at 6 p.m. That's the kickoff ceremonies, and then, of course, it goes on throughout the evening. We mentioned earlier that there was a glow-in-the-dark 5K run. Well, we've just found out more details about that.
Wow.
A group called the Bella Babes
Bella Babes.
are hosting the 5K run beginning at midnight. We were right about that. At the Wayne County Relay for Life. You go to runtheeast.com to register for this event. You can sign up through, oh my goodness.
Through
April
last
30th,
week.
through last week it says.
All right, well, look.
I would check it out anyway.
Check it out anyway, because they will always be able to take participants. The run in the dark, the glow in the dark, I mean.
Run in the dark. You're
Glowing
glowing and running in the dark.
Glowing and running. Yes, we are rowing and glunning here at the fairgrounds. And I'll tell you what, that's a great venue right
Yes,
there.
it
The
is.
fairgrounds is a fantastic place. It's owned by the Wayne County Livestock Association, and they sure have done a wonderful job in the improvements under great leadership there at the fairgrounds.
That's right.
Of getting everything just laid out wonderfully there. The roads between the buildings are paved. It's just a great place to be.
That's exactly
This
right.
is going to be a lot of fun, especially the glow-in-the-dark thing there.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, the 5K.
Yeah, so anyway, call or go online to
Runtheeast.com.
runtheeast.com and work on that, okay? Anyway, that's how you do that. All
That's how you do that. That's how you do that.
Okay, the answer to today's trivia question. We know that hours are made up of 60 minutes, and minutes are made up of 60 seconds, and that brings us to our question. There is such a time element as 1/100th of a second. When you go beyond seconds, seconds are broken up into hundredths. So what do you call 1/100th of a second?
Tell us, Wayne.
Well, think peanut butter. It's a jiffy.
How about that?
I'm serious. That's a real word. It's a
That's
jiffy.
a real
Yeah,
word?
I'll be there in a jiffy. Well, I'm here now. See, it's
That's
just
how
that
quick.
quick.
Oh,
That's how
just that quick.
I'll be there now. Well, what do you want? I'm coming over to the. Here I am. I'll be there in a jiffy. Okay, what is it? See, it's that quick. A 1/100th of a second is a real word. has a real definition. It's a jiffy.
Oh,
That's a fact.
my goodness. Don't forget the book sales this weekend at the Wayne County Public Library, May 10th and 11th at 9 o'clock a.m., Wayne County Public Library on Ash Street. We want to see you there.
In a jiffy.
In a jiffy. Yes, we do.
That's right. All right. Also, don't forget, coming up on the 20th through the 24th, that entire week devoted to small businesses. It is Small Business Week with several things going on around the Wayne County area, including things at the Chamber of Commerce office, at the Wayne Community College, and other venues around the Wayne County area. Small Business Week. You can call the Chamber to get information about that at 734-2241, 734-2241, or 739-6940.
That's a new way to say the word number 9?
Nyan.
Nyan? All right.
There's a Y in there somewhere.
Mount Olive has got an interesting event happening, the Mount Olive Senior Day in the park. Seniors are invited to Westbrook Park, which is a beautiful park in Mount Olive.
Yeah, it's nice.
On Wednesday, May 15th, it starts at 10 and lasts until 12 to enjoy Senior Day in the park. If they get rained out, a new date will be set in June, but it'll be advertised. They'll start their day off with a short walk around the park. DJ Wildheart will provide music. Seniors will be able to compete in lawn games. There will be prizes for all the winners. They're also planning line dancing, bingo, and many other things. Wages will serve a picnic lunch. So, we wanted to make sure we tell you there will not be meals served at Mount Olive. No, there will not be lunch served at Wages on that particular day.
That's right.
Only at Mount Olive on the site.
Right.
Ooh, finally got that. For more information, contact Aaron at 919-705-1785 or just give that number a call. There will be somebody at the Senior Center to give you information on it.
All right. That's exactly right. We hope you're
May
able to
15th.
partake in that. All right.
Yes.
All right. What's coming up tomorrow?
Tomorrow, let's see, we have Blair Tyndall on the show talking about safety.
Yes, he is the County EMS and Safety Director. And
We have a facilities update.
Milford Smith joins us and tells us about the facilities, the Wayne County facilities. Lots of great information there. And we say...
That's right. We say goodbye to Eileen Coit.
Eileen Coit for years has been the livestock agent for the Cooperative Extension Service here in Wayne County. And she's moving on up. She got a big promotion and she's moving up to another location. So we're going to say goodbye to Eileen. All right?
There we go.
So until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, at which time we will be right here. We hope you're right there. So join us again at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning here on WGTV today. And until then, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.